welcomes you to the Pulse Podcast. Today we've got a packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you well informed. So, please click the subscribe button to get notified of upcoming episodes. If you like what the APN's The Pulse Podcast talks about, then please share the Pulse with others. During this episode of The Pulse, the host looks forward to your comments. Tonight's APN's The Pulse Podcast starts now.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine, your moderator tonight for The Pulse. It is a pleasure to be here tonight. It's been a long time. We have some breaking news. Let's put up the first slide. So Libs of TikTok, my favorite woman, Jewish, by the way, she puts out breaking. Hannah Dugan, if you guys remember this judge, the Wisconsin judge convicted for helping an illegal alien escape ICE, receives zero prison time, and instead is ordered to pay just a $5,000 fine. How is this justice? This is not justice. This is a liberal judge who did something illegal. She broke the law, but yet she receives zero prison time and is ordered to pay just a $5,000 fine. If it was me or someone else, it would be like, go directly to jail. No fine, you're going to jail. But because she's a liberal judge and Wisconsin is a purple state, they allowed this woman to break the law, and all she's doing now is just paying a $5,000 fine. It's disgusting. We need to get rid of these liberal judges as much as possible. That's why it is important who your judges are. It is very important to pay attention to judge elections, because we're seeing when you have, sorry, the host said, let's try this again. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry, that threw me off. So again, when liberal judges are involved, this is what happens. This is what happens. Damn people break the law. And unfortunately, there's no justice. And that's why I admire people like Judge Janine. I admire people like many others who actually do care about the Constitution and do follow the law. Let's go to the second breaking news. This is someone else who is another judge, broke the law. They know that there's no evidence to back that E. Jean Carroll was raped by Donald Trump. And this supposedly happened in 1996. It's like a very, very, quote, old accusation, old case, whatever you want to call it. But E. Jean Carroll, according to the jury, in a very liberal state, can be paid the $5.8 million that was set aside after the jury found 3 years ago that President Trump sexually abused her in 1996 before he became president, and defamed her after she publicly revealed the attack. A federal judge ruled this today. A federal judge, a liberal-based federal judge. Again, no evidence that this woman was raped by Donald Trump. I know Bergdorf Goodman. I've been there. There's cameras everywhere. You mean to tell me there's no camera footage of her with Donald Trump? There's no camera footage of her being assaulted in a dressing room? The whole thing is asinine, and the whole thing is ridiculous. And I'm just like, it's insane. It's insane. But what bothers me is that President Trump, again, has to go through another appeal. President Trump, again, has to be confronted with this crap. And of course, he's in the process of appealing that $8.3 million that this other federal judge wanted him to pay her. Let me tell you something. This woman deserves no money from President Trump. Not one single penny from President Trump. He did absolutely nothing wrong. She's a liar. She's a fraud. She said rape was sexy. She named her cat Vagina. The woman is a sick woman. So we'll keep everybody abreast of this case and abreast of what's going on here. But I hope that President Trump doesn't have to give this woman a dime of his money. And I know he will appeal it as much as he can, so he never gives her a dime of this money. Also, I just want to say other breaking news that President Trump just finished a great summit in NATO. It was in Ankara, Turkey, which is the capital of Turkey. He was hosted by the president of Turkey, Erdogan. And he actually held Spain to the fire. And I've said this on our show, that Spain has done absolutely nothing to help the United States and to help NATO. They, in my opinion, should be removed from NATO. But President Trump basically said to the president of Spain, if you don't follow along If you don't do your fair share, I will stop doing everything with you. No trade agreements with you, no money for you, nothing. You're done, closed, money tree is gone. So, of course, the people of Spain or the president freaked out. Pressure was put on him to get on board with the Trump administration, get on board with NATO. As you know, President Trump has talked about removing certain countries from NATO, removing America from NATO. He feels, in his opinion, that they have done nothing, that they've screwed us. I agree with that, too. So thank you, President Trump, for holding Spain's feet to the fire, for being vigilant, for being strong, and also for saying, guess what, Spain, you screwed with us, not going to screw with us anymore. And President Trump, he just got back to Turkey safely. There was reports that the Iranian government was trying to kill him at this summit. Iran is awful, and they literally have had it out for him from the beginning. And the word got out that they were trying to hurt him again. They were trying to kill him again. So he had to switch planes, actually. He went from the plane that he flew from the people in Qatar that gave him a private plane that's now in London. And he stopped in London, and then he switched to Air Force One because he knows Air Force One. He knows that the plane is protected, and there's, he knows the plane. So he did that for safety reasons. So we pray for the president. We pray that he's okay, that the cabinet's okay. And again, he did a great summit in Turkey, and we'll keep you abreast on that further on in the show and also other shows down the road. But before we get to the guts of our show, we have with us my co-host, my buddy, Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. I don't see him. Is he delayed?
Oh.
There you go.
Hey. Yeah.
There you are. There's maybe a slight delay, but we'll get through it. Don't worry. We'll all get through it. And of course, we have our wonderful, wonderful special guest who always comes on every week, the beautiful and the gorgeous Elana Barbera.
Hello, nice to be here.
Oh, Damon Sherrod's on. Yay, our producer. We need him. Oh, now he just walked off. Oh, well.
Okay.
Oh, Seth, do we have Seth back? Well, we got our producer to work.
Let's just carry on. He'll pop.
Let's just carry on. There we go. I know we're all kind of delayed. It's all good. That's fine. Actually, we're getting better, and we just love restream. Anyway, so segment. Let's go into segment one. So segment one is where's Mitch McConnell? So David Harris Jr. Put out this tweet the other day. Elaine Chao, who's the wife of Senator Mitch McConnell, she traveled to Beijing, China, and met with Chinese Vice President Heng Zhang. I totally butchered his name, on June 17th. The meeting occurred just 3 days after Senator McConnell was hospitalized following a severe medical emergency. Now, there's speculation that Mitch McConnell had he was in cardiac arrest. He's been unconscious for 3 days. But Elana, my question to you is, if this was your husband and he's a senator, and remember, she was a cabinet member of Trump's, in the first administration, why would she just take off to China 3 days after he was hospitalized?
I mean, I don't want to go too hard on her just yet because we don't have all the facts. I mean, it's still just a rumor that he had a stroke, right? Now, if he had a stroke, yeah, I don't care if my husband's a senator or, just please, just, regular Joe. I'm not leaving him. If my dog had a stroke, I wouldn't go to a summit. I would stay home. So that'll be really bad, but time will tell. I mean, he may have not had a stroke. He may have been hospitalized for something that, seemed, really not that bad. And she thought it was safe for her to go. So, I think we're making a controversy here where there may not be one. That's my 2 cents.
I agree. Seth, do you want to chime in before you restart yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just you're delayed. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all crazy. I mean, like Elaine said, if that's your spouse, why would you leave them just because they're a vegetable now? I mean, till death do you part. That's the promise. So you got to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I feel sorry for the guy. I mean, professionally, I think he was a douchebag, but as a human being, I'm sorry to hear this happen to him, and I'm sorry his family's going through this. And if he's brain dead, there's really no coming back. So I can't wish him well. It
If
is
that's
what
the
it
case.
is now.
We don't really know, though. That's the thing.
Well,
I think
true.
the bigger issue is that we don't know, and we're not being told, and we're being given a bit of a runaround. And who's doing this guy's job in the meantime? And votes are being held up because of him, and so things are being. That's really the bigger story here. I think, like that as usual, we're just being, hit with smoke and mirrors and no actual facts.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Damon, sure, let's put up the second slide. This is Bill Waterman. This is the second one. So Bill Waterman said news sources are reporting Mitch McConnell is brain dead. He has not been heard from in 3 weeks and suffering a full cardiac arrest and is still in the hospital. If this is true, a special election would be held for his seat and Thomas Massie could potentially win it and be in the Senate. I won't speak evil, but will say the truth loud and clear that few men have done more harm to people than this man. May he get the reward he deserves when they pull the plug. Now, me personally, I don't like that. Elana and I and Seth, we all talked about this. We all believe in Judeo-Christian values, and we don't believe in wishing anyone ill. In fact, we do the opposite. We actually wish the person to get better. So I don't agree that Bill Waterman said they should pull the plug. But do you agree, Elana, with this source? And like you said, we're still trying to, navigate evidence here. Do you think that he's brain dead? Do you think that he suffered a full cardiac arrest and he's a vegetable, like some sources have already claimed?
No, because I don't, just operate on rumors. But I can say that we did see those episodes where Mitch McConnell froze. Remember those over the past year? Standing there and all of a sudden he froze, and didn't he fall down once? So this man has been kind of the Walking Dead for a while, if we're being honest. And I'm not surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if these rumors came out as fact later. I think, though, we have to still be graceful, and when we're speaking about somebody who's sick, and how this guy ended his tirade here, how bad it's going to be for him when they pull the plug. Come on, did you really need to do that? That was like when Trump said all those bad things about Rob Reiner, like right after he died. Like we were on this show, and I was saying the same thing. Like, dude, why? His kids are suffering. Where their parents were just murdered, and it's just not the time. Be sensitive to the family. Like, if Waterman doesn't like McConnell, be sensitive to his family. This is, obnoxious.
I agree. But this also, goes to the claim that I've said and others about term limits. And we really need term limits for people in Congress, because this guy is like over 80 and he's having health problems. Dianne Feinstein stayed in the Senate until she was like 96 and she had dementia. There's other congressmen that have been there that have dementia and their staff members hide it. Nancy Pelosi, as you know, is a Looney Tune, and she's finally leaving. It's like these people wait till they're like 80, 90, or they're practically dead to either resign or they die in office. What say you in regards to, like, do you believe that we should have a term limit? Maybe like a congressman should be out of there by the age of 75 before they become, Alzheimer's or dementia age. What say you?
Well, no, I don't think we should have it, but we should have term limits. We should establish a certain number of terms that you can hold in each office. And period, no matter what age you are.
I agree.
And that's and that'll I think that'll solve everything, because I don't think anyone's going to run for their first term at 78 years old. And if they do,
some do.
No, but it's
I know what you mean.
It's less common. It's not a big danger. And if somebody's doing that, man, then they're probably the Spitfire that we need. But for the most part, this guy should have been out 40 years ago.
I agree. To your point, though, there was a guy who ran for governor of Maryland, and he's 78 years old. Never been in office ever. I mean, he didn't look 78. He looked good, but it's like, you think about it, he's gonna be there for 4 years. He's gonna be over 80. Like, come on, I mean, he ended up losing to a much younger guy, but the fact that, like, he put himself in the ring. And, he tried to act like he was Donald Trump, which he's not. And then he said, no, don't talk about Donald Trump with me. I don't want to hear about Donald Trump. But it's like, dude, you're 78 years old. Like, you know, you have a great life. You lived a great career. Like, why did you have to get involved? You know, it's crazy. I was talking about Ed Hale Jr., Seth, just now.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things like we were talking about is like term limits. Like this, in my opinion, this is the point of we need term limits. This guy's over 80 years old. He's not doing well. You have people in Congress and the Senate that were there till in their 90s. You know, this is why we need term limits. What say you?
Me?
Yes, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Term limits, yeah. Because unfortunately, not enough people vote to make voting the term limit tool. I mean, we've had people in Congress and the Senate who are wearing diapers, who don't have bowel control anymore, but we allow them to make laws and do things and tax us or declare war and not declare war. I mean, these people are incontinent. And we let them make decisions that I wouldn't even let my grandfather use a remote control if he were like that. But these fools have the keys to the kingdom, and nobody seems to care. It's embarrassing. What was that guy's name? Byrd, was it Senator Byrd from West Virginia? Was the Klan king or some crap?
Yep.
Like that? And nobody voted him out. And then we got that moron in Maine that's running, the Nazi. We need to have.
He won't be running anymore.
Well, good.
Well, are we going to talk about him later?
We'll talk about that. So we're putting that on hold. So we'll talk about that.
But we need to have some like control or some way to keep people like that from staying in power forever. So yeah, we need to have something like that. I fully agree with it.
So we have a special guest, another co-host, Damon Gallo of the Jersey Shore, the Republican nominee for CD1 in New Jersey. Let's bring him on for a little bit. I know he wanted to come on and say hi. Hey, how are you, Damon?
Hello, guys.
What's
I'm on
up?
my phone right now. We're at
You're the only one that's not delayed. No, just kidding. I spoke too soon.
Jersey State House.
No, well, maybe we'll come back on.
Well, I can tell he's at a concert in New Jersey, and he's doing crowd work out there, talking to people about what's going on in New Jersey, and that he wants to represent. You know, so it's probably too loud for us to hear him anyway.
All
right, guys, just want to say hello. We're out here handing out flyers for the campaign. Here with Jack from the Jersey State House Watch.
Hey, Jack.
Cool.
So, all right, guys, just want to make it tonight, and have the kids here eat ice cream.
Hello.
So,
Hey, kids.
So, all right, guys, just wanted to pop in and say hello. So we're going to get busy and start handing out some of my list.
All right. Good luck out there.
Good to see you.
One out.
Yeah, I mean, Damon is working hard, guys. He really is. And, you know, of course, we endorse him on our network, on our show. Awesome guy. Really deserves to be there, non-politician. And we're just going to keep supporting him and keep fighting for him. But I want to go to the third slide. This is at Laura Loomer. You know, regardless if you like her reporting or not, this is what she put up. So this was a couple days ago. She said, high-level source close to the White House. As you know, Laura Loomer is very close to the White House and President Trump. Tells me, quote, Mitch McConnell is officially brain dead. He's not coming back. Then she writes, Mitch McConnell is being kept alive by life support machines, but my White House source told me McConnell is an organ failure. And as I reported, source told me he has allegedly been declared a vegetable, brain dead. My doctors and the White House has been told McConnell isn't ever coming back. I turn to Elana. Do you agree with Laura Loomer's reporting? Do you think that her source is legit? I mean, this is some serious, you know, stuff to put out there. I mean, she basically saying the guy's an organ failure. He's a vegetable. He's on life support. He's not coming back. What say you?
You know, she's got some pretty good sources, Laura Loomer, and I don't think she would say that if she didn't think it was, you know, really happening. I mean, I don't know what your opinion is.
She could get sued.
She could get sued. Yeah, of course. And, you know, just worse than that, her reputation does matter to her. You know, she's she takes a lot of risks. She can be a little off the wall sometimes. I think she gets a little bit ridiculous and kind of makes a spectacle of herself, but she's also, you know, put out some trustworthy stuff in the past. So, and the White House does trust her. So we'll see. Time will tell. This secret can't be kept for where.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Seth, what say you? Do you agree with Laura Loomer here? Do you think she's got some legitimacy with these accusations?
Yeah, she's been pretty spot on in the past. I wouldn't. I'd assume that nothing has changed. I might have waited until like the family made an announcement just to cover my butt. I mean, but like I said, she's been pretty spot on in the past. I don't think there's any. Well, there's always a chance, but I think it's a slim to none chance that she's wrong.
That's very true. That is, yeah, I agree with you. But what I've noticed on Twitter, especially, is that she's getting hit by a lot of people. People are telling her to shut the F up. They're calling her conspiracy theorist. So a lot of times when I read that, I'm like, oh, she triggered somebody. Oh, she's onto something. Usually they attack someone when it could possibly be true. And as to Elena's point, she is very close to the White House. I don't think she would put that out there, unless it wasn't true. But I agree with Seth also because the family should be coming out with a statement. Sometimes you should wait for the family to come out with a statement. But what I blame is Mitch McConnell's staff. I blame his chief of staff, his campaign manager, his team, his White House, his press secretary, whoever works under Mitch. I do blame them because they work for the pleasure of Mitch. They speak on behalf of Mitch, and they should be coming out with something so that we, the American people, aren't kept in the dark. And if this is all a ruse, so the Save America Act doesn't get passed, that's really shitty too. So I do blame the staff on this. I wholeheartedly hold the staff accountable for not putting something out. I also hold his wife accountable for not putting something out or saying something on behalf of her husband. The fact, as I said earlier, her just going off to China, out of nowhere, 3 days after your husband's like not doing well and he's in a hospital, is very shady, is very weird. Not a normal person a normal wife wouldn't do that. They'd stand by her man, they'd stand by his side if he's dying or whatnot. And it's just, the whole thing just sounds very shady to me. What say you, Elena?
I'm not sure why they haven't put out a statement. I mean, I think there's just so much politicking going on behind the scenes that they don't know what to say. They're probably being pressured by 100 different people to say 100 different things, and they're really they're puppets, the staff, and they're not used to being the puppeteers, so they don't know what to do. It's this might end up being a movie.
Yeah. Oh my God, made for TV movie. Last word, Seth, on this topic.
Who knows? Maybe they've already maybe he's dead. Who knows? I mean, really, only they know. So maybe she's made peace with it. Well, if he's brain dead, he's dead. I mean, he's being kept alive by machines. He's gone. All you're looking at now is a pile of meat. So maybe she's made peace with it, and hey, I got to do what I got to do. I mean, he's not there, sitting by the bed, doesn't really do anything anymore. He doesn't know I'm there. So maybe she's just trying to keep herself occupied until, the funeral.
Maybe. Or I was thinking, she's trying to put her ties together, her assets together. Her brother-in-law and sister, they're very involved in China. They have a lot of business in China. Again, for the audience, people think that Elaine Chao is Chinese. She's actually Taiwanese. She's from Taiwan. But her family and her in-laws have a lot of ties to China. So does Mitch. So, maybe she's trying to cover up something. Maybe she's trying to shift something from one account to another. You never know. There's a lot of seedy stuff that, went behind the scenes that we don't know. And then she's like, oh, crap, my husband's dying and things are coming up. And, I need to change this. I need to do that, cross my T's and dot my I's, to make sure that everything is kosher and everything's legit. That does happen. Yeah. But what say you, Seth?
That could be it. Maybe there's money in his name and she's got to get it before he passes to make things easier. I mean, that could be very well. It could just be something as practical as that. Maybe it's like, hey, I got millions of dollars tied up over there under his name while he's still alive. I got to go get it while I can. I mean, it could be just as simple as that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hope nobody's putting like sinister things behind it. I mean, it's not like she snuck away. Everybody knows where she's at. Everybody knows where he's at. This is not like under the table, behind closed doors. Everybody knows what's going on where she's at. I think maybe that's right. Maybe it's just money. Maybe she's got to get it out while he's alive because it's easier to do now versus when he dies, and you have to produce all sorts of documentation. Because I know when my mom passed, and God knows she wasn't a millionaire, just to get her money out of her account took weeks. They needed this and duplicate birth certificate, other thing. It was ridiculous. So maybe she's just trying to head that all off.
We never know. But we're going to take a quick break. Come stay with us. We are live. Segment 2 is very juicy. Each segment that we do is juicier and juicier. Please, guys, like and subscribe. We are on 15 different networks, connections. We're on Rumble. We're on Spotify, Substack, Facebook, TikTok, Parler, True Social. You name it, we're on it. So please stay with us. Again, I want to thank everybody who's watching right now. I know there's a lot of people that are watching. They're not commenting around the country and the world, so I appreciate that as well. But stay with us, guys. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
Well, hello, everyone. We are back with the Pulse. Again, I'm Alexandra Levine, your moderator tonight. Segment 2, Nazis versus woman beaters. And the reason I titled it this way is, as Elana or Seth kind of brought up in segment 1, we're talking about this freaking Nazi Graham Plattner, who was the Democratic nominee for the United States Senate in Maine. He had a Nazi tattoo, but the Democrats, Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, Elizabeth Warren, Hakeem Jeffries, they had no problem endorsing this guy with a Nazi tattoo. But when it comes out that he is a wife beater, a woman beater, he sexually assaulted and raped these women, and now every day it's this woman's coming out and saying he raped her and this and that. Oh my God, he's a liability. It's a problem. We have to push him out. And they have less than a week to get someone to replace him. Question is, who are they going to replace? So let's put up the first slide. This is by Ben Shapiro. So Ben Shapiro, the Maine Democratic Senate ticket is in total chaos after Troy Jackson, the leading replacement for scandal-ridden candidate Graham Plattner, was hit with assault allegations. So they have this leading replacement, and he's got crap too. And now let's put up at Fox News. Let's put up that slide too. So another explosive allegation is surfaced against embattled Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner. Just a day after he was publicly accused of rape, Plattner was accused by an ex-girlfriend of secretly removing condoms during sex after she explicitly told him to wear them, according to a new report by the Washington Post. He would pull condoms off, Lindsay Fifield told the newspaper. He would do it in a sneaky way. He wouldn't tell me. Plattner, of course, has denied the allegations as his campaign faces growing scrutiny ahead of a key campaign decision deadline. My question to you, Seth, why the hell would the Democrat Party put up this guy to begin with? What in the hell? And again, the irony, the guy is a Nazi. He's got a Nazi tattoo. But now all these allegations are coming out that he, screwed these women, raped these women. Now he removed the condom without telling the woman, and that's considered rape. And now he's a liability. What say you?
Well, weren't there allegations a few before this too? Like this isn't all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, many. This one came out all of a sudden. This is brand new.
Yeah, but I mean, before these two, there was more previous to this, right?
There was more, and he kind of hinted on MSNBC with Joe Scarborough's wife, Mika, whatever the hell her name is, that there was more coming out supposedly, and she was like, "There's more." So yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm old-fashioned or however you want to look at it, but if someone comes to me and goes, "Hey, look at my Nazi tattoo," yeah, I'm not supporting you. Yeah, I don't care what you're running for. You don't have my support. As a matter of fact, you probably shouldn't run for anything public office-wise because you're a Nazi.
Yep. Correct.
And you would figure that would be enough for people to go, "I'm not voting for the guy. He's a Nazi." But no. Then he's accused of what? Strong-arming a girlfriend. Not sexual assault, but just like assault. And then he cheated on his brand new wife.
Yep.
Sexting people and sending
Yep. And he
special pictures to people.
He was naked at his brother's wedding.
Yeah, and then he was like, what, masturbating and out in porta potties and
Yes.
was making fun of a girl, a teenager who was going to commit suicide, was making fun of cops. I mean, the guy's an all-around piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I never again want to hear from the left, believe all women, because they don't. It's ridiculous. And I'm glad he's stepping down. Maine should be embarrassed. The entire Democratic Party in Maine should be fucking embarrassed. And this nation should be ashamed that a Nazi got that far in the election process and isn't getting put out because he's a Nazi. He's getting put out for allegations, and that's what they are right now. They're allegations. They're not. There's no proof. So he's getting put out for accusations versus a goddamn Nazi tattoo he had on his chest. Mm-hmm. That was okay. Mm-hmm. That was fine. Mm-hmm. Now he's been accused of stuff. We got to get rid of him. It's a joke. The Democratic Party is a joke.
But Elana, don't you think they're coming at him hard because the Democrats are looking at the poll numbers and they're seeing that he's only at 35% and Susan Collins is up like 50 to 55%. So they're like, crap, this guy is not going to do any better. Susan Collins will win re-election. So we got to find somebody quick to replace him. So we're just going to throw all these allegations against him and have these women, come out of the woodwork and say he assaulted them to try to get rid of him. What say you?
Yeah, well, apparently the New York Times had this story prior to the big Politico story, and they snuffed it out. And so they did know. So there's no way the Times knew and they didn't know. So you're, what sounds like a conspiracy theory coming out of your mouth actually has some legs. So they probably did know he wasn't looking good as a winner for them anymore. And so they can get rid of him and pull what they did with Biden, just take him out and pop in whoever they want to hell with the democratic process. He has not resigned from the race yet. He has not pulled out. As we know, from the Politico report, he does not like to pull out and he does not take no for an answer. So I think he might just stay.
He definitely doesn't like to pull out.
Yeah, no pun intended.
He might just stay in this race, despite their calls for him to resign. He earns the spot, whether we like it or not. He's the candidate. I want him to stay in the race. Please, Plattner, stay in the race.
Yeah, a lot of hardcore Republicans say that and agree with you on that. But actually, Mr. Plattner came up with some terms stating that he would get out of the race if he could pick his successor or his replacement. And so those are his terms. He's like, I'll get out, but I get to choose.
He said that today?
Yeah, I think he did.
Wow. Yeah, actually, I think whatchamacallit, Damon Sherrod, I think we have that slide. I think it's the next slide. Yep, there it is. David Harris Jr. Graham Plattner is refusing to drop out of the Maine Senate race unless he is allowed to choose his own successor, effectively holding the Democrat Party hostage amid serious allegations. This comes after Bernie Sanders, anti-Jew Jew, publicly urged him to step aside. So Bernie Sanders, his man, holding up his hand, loving this Nazi, is now calling him to step aside. But Graham Plattner, in a sense, he's doing a deal here. He's trying to do the art of the deal and saying, yeah, I'll drop out, but I get to pick who is my successor. Elana, what say you about that?
This is so good. I'm so glad I didn't see this, and you're getting my fresh reaction. I mean, so the Democrats either have to choose between letting the Nazi rapist stay or letting the Nazi rapist choose what's best for the party. Correct. They cannot win here. There's no winning. Is there a mechanism somewhere behind the scenes where they can remove him from the ballot against his will? Deep in the bylaws somewhere. I don't know. I've never heard of that. So this is going to be fantastic. I have not watched the World Cup, and it's because things like this pop up, and this is way better.
Yeah, I agree with you. Seth, what do you think?
He just needs to shut the hell up and go away or stay.
Stay.
Yeah, because we saw recently, or in the other clip that I showed you, that the person that they want to push, he's also accused of sexual allegations as well, Seth.
Yeah, let him. It's either him or the woman beater. You're going to lose either way.
He is a woman beater.
They're both women beaters.
Yeah, they're both women beaters.
Just stay with the girl you brought to the dance. you're going to lose. There's no way you can win, but at least show some integrity and stay with the guy. I mean, if you want to come out and say, look, like Bernie, I'm not a Jew, who thinks he's a Jew. Sanders wants to come out and say he needs to step down. You can distance yourself from him, but everybody remembers you holding his arm up and telling him how great he was and how a great man and a good leader is going to be. And what Pocahontas came out, did the same thing. That's my man. These pictures will never go away. Those videos will never go away. People will remember you always as the idiots that supported a Nazi. And at that point, everybody knew he was a Nazi.
And I'm glad, Seth, that she made that point. Damon shared, let's put up the next slide by Laura Loomer. So Laura Loomer is reminding everybody, she says, make every single voter remember the entire Democrat Party endorsed a Nazi who's been accused of raping women. I hear there are more women and possibly even kids on Kick. I don't even know what Kick is. The Democrat better own this shit. Pardon my language. They better swallow it all because this is their guy. Make them own him. The Nazi tattoo wasn't a red line, but rape is a red line for Democrats. Interesting. What say you, Elana?
Rape isn't a red line for Democrats. They just thought it would lose them votes all of a sudden. They don't really care about that.
Well, look what they did to Swalwell. I mean, they had to find a way to get Swalwell out of there because there was too many people in the Democrat primary for governor. So they all these women threw these accusations against Eric Swalwell to the point where he's actually, he was removed from Congress.
Yeah.
He destroyed his career.
Yes, that was also fun. That was almost as much fun.
That was awesome. But isn't it interesting? So the socialists and the socialists and the progressives in the Democrat Party, they destroy each other. In the Republican Party, it's the alt-right and the rhinos that destroy each other. And that's the problem. And that's why people don't like Seth and I, we don't really like to identify with parties because it's like we say, oh, I'm a Democrat, but then they put you in the label of the socialists and the progressives. You say you're a Republican. Oh, you're part of that alt-right, far-right, movement. What say you, Seth?
Can I just real quick? You compare the far left with the alt right, whatever they call. Like you're talking about really fringe on the right. The Democrats and the socialists, the mainstream Democrats are kissing the socialists' butts to get their votes. They are truly in bed with them, and they are bigger and more and louder and more of a force than any super far right nut jobs. I just got to say, I don't think we're comparing.
Sure, but I was making the point that we have, we have those the Democratic Socialists and Progressives that are hurting their own party, and then the alt-right is hurting a lot of the people in the Republican Party too. Not as much as what the Democrats are doing, but I was trying to make the parallel there that we again, myself and I don't really identify as a Republican because when we do, we're labeled as something else. Like our friend Tim Fasemaker is labeled as this far right guy because he's a Republican. He's actually not far right at all. So it's hilarious to me. That's why we don't really go by parties. We don't really say I'm a Republican. I don't say I'm a Republican anymore. I say I'm a conservative. I don't go by party anymore. So that was what I was trying to. That was the analysis that I was trying to make.
No, I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, go ahead, Seth.
Well, I've never met Laura Loomer, but apparently she's a very smart chick.
I've met her many times. She's very smart, and she is. People think I'm her actually sometimes. She's a force to be reckoned with. I mean, I
want to have a beer with her because apparently we have the same thought process and pattern. So we should get together and drink a few.
Find out who her fiance is. I still don't know.
He can come. I don't care. I mean, he can look at me and go, "Damn, that's one hell of a man." Anyway. And another thing the Democrats don't have as a red line is murder. I mean, Kennedy left that woman dead in the bay.
Yeah.
Drunk and killed her. That didn't matter to the Democrats. So no, rape doesn't matter to them either. This is all smoke and mirrors. Like, clutch my pearl time. You've been accused of rape. You have to go. They don't give a shit. If he could win, they wouldn't be talking about him coming out. They wouldn't mention it. Yeah. Democrats, and more to the point, liberals are mentally ill. I firmly believe in my heart of hearts they suffer from a mental illness, and this just goes to prove it. Guy's a Nazi, doesn't matter. He was accused of rough arming a girlfriend of his, didn't matter. Cheated on his wife, didn't matter. Jerked off in public places, didn't matter. Made fun of a teenager trying to commit suicide, didn't matter. Made fun of cops, didn't matter. Did other ridiculous stuff, didn't matter. Got accused of raping somebody. Then he starts to tank in the polls. Oh,
That matters.
He's got to go.
Right.
I mean, if anybody believes this bullshit charades, smoke and mirrors going on right now, I got swampland in Arizona I'll sell you for pennies on the dollar. I mean, nobody can be that stupid.
Well, actually, there are people that are stupid. Our last slide from Libs of TikTok.
Well, they're libs. I mean,
well, no,
yeah, they're not. Libs of
wait,
TikTok.
Damon shared, where is it? It's there. I know it's there. There it is. So Libs of TikTok, no, she's great. She's a Jewish woman that started the organization. But she's commenting on, haha, Gorman. Maine Democrats had to cancel an event with Graham Planner, but they're still standing behind him and supporting him amid the latest rape allegations. Apparently, they didn't get the memo from the higher-ups that the Democratic Party's officially ditching Planner. So Gorham Democrats in Gorham, Maine, they're saying Graham Planner is postponed for tonight, but we will reschedule. So look at this crazy lady, Elana. Like, why would these group of Democrats still stand by this rapist, this Nazi, and like the Post said, the Democrat Party is officially ditching him. So why are they still promoting him? Why do they want to reschedule an event? Is it because it's a money thing for them? You know, they spend a lot of money on the guy and they got tickets, so they don't want to like give the money back. What say you?
Well, it depends on when that was. So if that was like, within hours of it coming out, she hadn't gotten her marching orders yet. So she was stupid enough to write that. We're going to post.
I think that came out right after the allegation, like the latest allegation came out where the woman went on TV for 5 minutes and did a whole interview. And
right.
Like
so right after the allegations come out, this dopey lady, instead of being able to say, oh my goodness, let me just cancel this and not say anything about rescheduling or postponing and looking like I'm still in bed with Plattner, just say, tonight's event is canceled, period, zip, leave it. Because I think it was the very next day that the Maine Democratic Party put out their statement saying, we're out, we're not behind him anymore. So she just, she didn't get marching orders from on high. So she said something stupid. That's what happens when you give a dummy a Twitter account.
Yep, exactly. And Seth, we talk about this with the clubs, especially in Maryland and the central committees in Maryland and whatnot. They still stand by crazies. They still stand by rhinos. They still stand by God knows what, even in the Democrat Party in Maryland. What say you about this crazy lady still standing with Graham Plattner?
Well, first, I just want to say I can literally smell the cat urine and shame from this. Literally, my eyes are watering. God. I'm just looking at her.
She looks like a cat.
She's probably got bodies in her basement. But I can almost understand this. I mean, you don't want to come out because right now it's just allegations.
Right.
No one's been convicted. No one's been charged with anything. So you don't want to just come out and jump on there and go, hey, the guy's a rapist. We're getting out of here.
Right.
So I can kind of understand trying to save face. Like, hey, we're going to postpone this until further. I agree with what Elana said. They just should have said, hey, this has been postponed and left it at that. Don't need to go any further. No one really thinks this is going to be rescheduled. And I think at some point it's going to go. It'll boil down to money, like you said. They've sold tickets or shit like that already, and they don't want to give it back. So we have to do the legit, ethical thing and go. Let's refund everybody's money, or refund half of it.
That.
Do half. Like we've already paid for stuff. We got to give you half back. Whatever. They're just going to keep stringing it along until someone goes, hey, look at my money back, or I'm going to sue you. That's the liberals in a nutshell. Yep. It's not about right. It's not about wrong. It's not about, facts or truth. It's about money to them. They just want control and money. And this just goes to show that. They could send the money back and this all would go away, but they're not going to do that. They're disgusting human beings with a mental illness.
I agree. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with segment 3. Please, guys, like and subscribe us. We are live right now on Rumble, on TikTok, on True Social, on about 15 different connections. Stay with us, guys. We'll be right back with The Pulse.
Hey, it's great to be on with you. This is a great podcast. It's a lot of fun and it's informative and it's real information. It's none of the frills and none of the nonsense that you hear on the legacy media, just telling the story of what's happening right now. It's what I do with my newsletter that I get out to anybody who wants to see it. It's what you're doing with this podcast. America needs to know what the real deal is, and you're the real deal.
Well, thank you, Congressman Jeff Andrew. He's up for re-election too, so don't forget to vote for him, and also for Damon Galdo. Damon Galdo is running for Congress in CD1. So this segment is a little bit, it's more fun. So we celebrated 250 years of America, which was so significant. I actually painted my nails, if you can see them, of the American flag. I usually don't go too patriotic, but I wanted to this time. So I happened to be in Maryland and DC for this beautiful moment because I wanted to be there. I first started with the Dundalk Fair. I walked 4.5 miles, 2.5 miles up and back for Tim Fazenbaker. Threw up during the parade because of the heat. It was like 100 degrees. It was very hot, and I was wearing a jacket like a crazy woman. But I didn't want to get a sunburn. But then, I actually ended up seeing the fireworks in Dundalk, which was beautiful. And then I came back and I watched the whole beautiful fireworks set of DC. And then the next day on Sunday, I pretty much spent about 8 hours at the Great American Fair. And if you guys haven't gone, if anybody hasn't gone, it's still open until July 10th. So until Saturday. So you guys got to get down there. It's a whole day affair, and they represent all 50 states, and they have a huge Ferris wheel, and it's just so beautiful. So let's put up the first image. This is of the Ferris wheel. It goes very slow. It's a very slow Ferris wheel. I didn't have a chance to go on the Ferris wheel, but the way that they put it together, it's just that Ferris wheel is in the heart of the Capitol, as well as the heart of all the states when you see them. And it's just such a beautiful moment to see what Trump did, what the administration did, how they're celebrating America 250. It wasn't political at all. So these stupid musicians that backed out, that didn't want to sing for the event, are retarded because it wasn't political at all. But I actually thank them for backing out because it gave the American people the chance to appreciate the military even more, in the military band, because they had some great singers from the military that are trained, that have been singing for years. The military band is phenomenal. And it really showed America, the true Americans, the people that serve our nation, the people that serve under our flag. And I pivot to you on this, Seth, because you were in the Navy, you served under our flag. What do you think about these idiots, these musicians that claim that this whole thing was political and they didn't want to do it? There were some that decided to still do it, like Flo Rida and Vanilla, not Vanilla Sky, whatever, Ice Baby, Ice, whatever his name is, Vanilla Sky. But, what do you think about that? What say you?
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't remember anybody boycotting Independence Day when Biden was president.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember anybody boycotting Independence Day when Obama was president. I mean, sometimes you just got to shut up, put politics aside, and then just enjoy the day. I mean, it doesn't make you less of a Democrat if you celebrate the independence of the Independence Day. It doesn't make you more of a Republican because you do celebrate it. It just makes you an American. I mean, and it all goes back to liberals have a mental illness. It's tangible. You can see it. It has symptoms. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, these people have an illness. And part of that illness is being miserable, being angry, and being frustrated 24/7 over stupid shit. Like they were complaining about the fireworks. Oh, he's going to kill people because air quality is so bad. People and older people and children are going to die. Stop. Listen to what you're saying out loud. And then stop. Just enjoy being American for at least a day. It's all it takes, just a day. Hell, do 8 hours. And then you can go back to being a miserable son of a bitch that nobody wants to be around if you want to. But just give it 8 hours. Try it on. Take it for a spin. Let me know how you think.
I agree with you. And, for the note, or just to tell the people, President Trump paid for the fireworks on July 4th. He spent millions of dollars on those fireworks. He used multiple different firework companies to produce the show that he did. There was not one taxpayer dollar that went into those fireworks. It was all President Trump. Another thing I want to show, Damon, sure, let's put up the buy slide. So this is the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. In between that is that beautiful pool, that body of water that President Trump did everything he could to make sure it was finished by July 4th. As we remember, liberal judges were trying to stop him from having that finished. Like, pivot to you, Elana. Look at that body of water. Look what President Trump created, because that water was disgusting before. And that water is so significant because it connects the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial, What say you about that? How President Trump celebrated America, how he redid the whole pool. And I said, only President Trump could redo a pool like he redid the Walter Rink in New York City.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that anybody would poo-poo making American monuments beautiful and making our capital clean. And it should be, the shining city on the hill that it deserves to be. These people poo-poo anything. There was a video of the people going around who were like, holding up signs, cheering for the algae to take over the reflecting pool. I mean, we're dealing with completely
mental patients.
Mental patients. Yes, thank you. I couldn't find the right word for deranged. So I was there. I filmed some of my documentary there when I did the documentary about the pornographic books in schools. Some of it you'll see the final cut is inside the Lincoln Memorial interviewing people. So I was there just a couple of years ago, and not as often as you. And it's so moving to be there and to be a part of our history, but to see it cleaned up, like, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see my nation's capital be someplace that I'm proud of again. I'm excited.
Yeah, and then of course, the liberal assholes, they were bitching that Trump was redoing the West Wing, and he actually just redid the opening door, to the West Wing, which is beautiful. Why wouldn't people champion that? Even politicians, why wouldn't they champion it? Oh, it's President Trump. We can't praise him. We can't say thank you, President Trump, for redoing everything. Right. And I walked by his old hotel in D.C. It was the Trump Hotel in D.C. It was the old U.S. Post Office. It's now the Waldorf Astoria. It's a dump. I mean, it's not beautiful. It's not like when it was Trump's hotel and you knew it was Trump's hotel. And I know that the president is looking into buying back that hotel because it needs to be redone. I mean, there was trash everywhere. There was barricades everywhere. It wasn't like the hotel that when Trump bought it and redid it and remodeled it. And I went inside and they changed a lot of what Trump did to it. And the fact that, he's back, he's a builder. We know this. I used to say everything he touches turns to gold. If you ever go to Trump Tower, everything is gold inside. I mean, he comes from nice. He knows nice. If you go to Mar-a-Lago, it's nice. It's beautiful. It's like a mini Versailles. So why would the people not be appreciative of this? Why? Of course, the Democrat politicians are going to shit on him because it's President Trump. But again, you can't just have one nice day. You can't just go to the Great American Fair and praise the president, and maybe not even praise the president, but just praise the whole day and what is taking place there. What say you, Seth?
Well, because people with an IQ above a flip-flop, they can go a thing like this and remove the politics from it, and they can be separate. Mm-hmm. Like the state fair thing, they can take the politics out of it. They can take out, well, Trump's buying it. They can remove that from the whole equation and just enjoy the day. When you're an escaped lunatic with the IQ of a flat tire, you can't do that. Everything is revolving around Trump. Everything is Trump's fault. Everything he does is wrong. There's nothing right about him. I don't understand how people like that, what's the word, sustain and live and thrive in this world. I mean, I can't imagine going through life as miserable as they are constantly.
Yeah. Elana, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, as miserable as we were under Biden, we still weren't seeing in the streets and during and running around screeching, holding signs. We were still productive members of society going about our days and living with our families. I mean, these people have cut themselves off from friends and family because of their Trump derangement syndrome.
Correct. Which is a real thing, by the way, real diagnosis.
It's a real thing. It's a real problem. There was you see any, whether you're talking about the regular Joes who are out of their minds, the liberals, or you're talking about the politicians. All they talk about is Trump. Like it's like they have Tourette. Say it. It's just terrible.
I agree.
I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. I really am.
So speaking of politics, so there was 10 states out of the Great American Fair that decided not to do a full display, or they decided not to participate. So instead, there was Republican counties that took initiative, and they kind of created their own version of what the state would be. For example, New Jersey. So instead of Josh Shapiro, the governor, or sorry, not Josh Shapiro, Mickey Sherrill, wrong state, Mickey Sherrill, the governor, putting effort and putting in money to acknowledge New Jersey as part of a state. This county, this Republican county, can't make county in New Jersey. They decided they're going to take initiative. They put their money into it, and they did a whole thing for New Jersey just based on their county. Pennsylvania, the same thing. Governor Josh Shapiro, he would not participate in it. So there was one Republican county that put their funds together to represent Pennsylvania. What say you about that, Elana?
Massachusetts, one lady took it upon herself to create a booth for Massachusetts, and she went down there and has spent this whole time there talking about the cradle of the American Revolution. The fact that Maura Healey used the word ridiculous to the idea of participating in this fair it says an awful lot about how much the Democrats hate America. Yep. Because if your love for America isn't greater hatred for Trump, you got a real problem, and you certainly don't belong at governing a state. Same thing with Shapiro. Same thing with Mikey Sherrill. She's they're absolute nightmares, leftist nightmares. So it bothers me that they hate him more than they love America, and that'll never not bother me.
What say you about it? I can tell you, Seth, I went to Maryland. They closed it. They wouldn't let anybody in because they said, based on the heat advisory, this is Westmore, we can't have people come in. It's like, wait a minute, we're walking inside of a building where it's air conditioned. Why would they close it off? Why wouldn't we be allowed to walk in? So what I did, I stood in front of it and I just took a picture like I went to Maryland. They did the same crap when you tried to walk into the DC exhibit. They closed it off. They said, sorry, it's too hot, can't come in. What say you about this?
I'm glad it happens. Now we know who are Americans and who aren't. Now it's obvious. There's no more hiding or, do they really like America or do they know? Now we know. And they should be ashamed and embarrassed of themselves. There's no, like I just said, they can't separate the politics from the thing. Everything is about Trump. Everything that happens in this world, everything that happens bad to them or bad to anybody, it's Trump. And I don't know how to explain it. Because I don't live like that. I don't live my life around one thing and let it drive and control every aspect of my life. No matter what happens, Trump's still president. My life sucks. I'm angry and I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm gonna go off on tangents and scream and yell about everything in the country that's bad, even though it has nothing to do with Trump. Everything bad that happens in my life is because of Trump. I mean, you had podcasters that went down there to harass people who were enjoying themselves.
Yep.
I can't imagine a bigger loser than going to some type, a gathering or anything like that, just to hassle people because they're having a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, that is definitely a definition of a dumpster fire. I mean, I can't describe how low a human being you have to be to do that and then think you're cool.
I agree with you.
It's trash. It's subhuman. Just leave this whole. Leave the country. That's simple. You don't like it, leave. You're under no obligation to stay in America. You can leave it anytime you want to. Just go to whatever country you want to go to and stay there.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with you. It was funny because I walked into Minnesota and I said, "Is Somaliland in here?" And they all laughed. But I mean, I had to say that, because it's disgusting how these freaking foreigners come in and they invade our country. They hate our country. We know they hate our country. And they don't take the oath on the Bible. They take the oath on the Quran or something else, or they drape a Palestinian flag over their body instead of the American flag. And the whole thing is just insane. It's disgusting. But I will say on a note, when you go to the Great American Fair, I would give yourself some time. You will be there for hours. It's not something you go in for 2 hours and leave. The state of Florida, the line was so long. It was like on the opposite side of the dam area. I actually didn't get a chance to go to my own home state because the line was so long and I wanted to see other states. New York was really long, surprisingly. And I found out because Florida was giving away stuffed animals. New York was giving away stuffed animals. So any state that's giving away free stuff, it's going to be a line all the way out to Neptune. So I advise people to go, as early as you can. If you keep kosher like myself, they do have kosher Cracker Jacks. They have kosher ice cream. You just have to ask. It's labeled KD or OUD. There was a lot of like religious women when I was there, pregnant religious women that were dying. And I was like, there's kosher ice cream, go look. And of course the cotton candy's kosher and the snow cones are kosher and the soda's kosher and whatnot. But it's a beautiful sight to see. And again, you don't have to be political. It's not about politics. It's about loving America. If you live in America, if you're from America, if you're an American citizen, you love being an American citizen, there's no reason why on earth, why you wouldn't want to go down there and just like have a great time. Like Seth says, you don't have to hassle anyone. You don't have to heckle anyone. If you don't want to go, you don't have to. It's again, we have free will. There's no gun that says, there's no rule that says you must go down there. But I advise everyone to go down there, to bring your children, to bring your grandchildren. I was reminiscing when I was 6 years old and I saw the Lincoln Memorial for the first time and I screamed because I thought Abraham Lincoln was going to come out of the chair. I really did. And I was telling my friends that. So I'm walking in this time as an older woman. And I say to myself, thank God there's people here. But if I was here in the dark by myself, I'd still freak out and I'd still scream that he would be coming out of that chair. But that's just me. But
what's really cool?
Yeah.
My father was U.S. Park Police, and they are the main police force in that area. And when I was 10 or 11, and my brother was 7, he got us into the Washington Monument, and we took the stairs that are closed to the public. You're not allowed to do it. And like on every floor, there's like a marble plaque on the wall that's hand carved for like the states. It was really cool. It was also like 110 degrees inside that thing. And I don't remember how many flights of stairs, but it took us like an hour. And I hated my father after that, but it was cool to do it. I mean, it like you said, it doesn't have to, not everything's political. Some things are just cool.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, you get to do this. Other countries, they don't do this in. It's true. Like I said, people like that are mentally ill.
I agree. Elana, the last word. Oh, I can't hear you. I think you're on mute. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, there you go.
I did because the dog was barking and then I forgot. Okay.
That's okay.
So, what you're saying, Seth, it's cool. It shouldn't be political. It's not cool when you don't love your country.
Well, yeah.
Like I don't think a pride parade is cool, so, because I don't love watching grown men shake their junk in front of children. That's just me, though.
That's me too.
That's me too. There was actually, I think recently there was a parade and the men were like naked. And
yes, I saw that.
And the wieners were very small. I don't know if they were circumcised or not.
I didn't look that close.
Cold,
I will actually, I do want to say on a funny note that, and I was upset that I missed this because I was in Little Italy in Baltimore like a few weeks ago for synagogue. And they had a guy who stripped down naked and he stood on like the old statue of like the Christopher Columbus was. He was like butt naked. And I was like, darn, I missed that. Darn. And of course, all the women were wondering if the guy was circumcised or not. But it's an extreme thing that somebody did. We found out he was like 31 years old. I mean, he was a grown ass man doing this. Yeah, Seth, I wish it was you.
It was.
But it's just like, it's stuff like that. Like, does that represent America? Like to strip naked, pretend you're a statue? I mean, is that America? And then we had this Russian couple, which I thought was a beautiful thing. They went up on the skyscraper and they had this beautiful banner, and that's got a lot of attention about love and the power of love and everything. And then it shows the guy proposing to her, and they got arrested, and the charges against them are just insane. They're accused of burglary, trespassing. It's like major charges against this couple who really didn't do anything heinous, in my opinion. Yes, it might have been illegal to go up to the skyscraper, but they're not terrorists. People thought they looked like terrorists because they were all masked. But I mean, they did a beautiful thing and they were showing a beautiful thing, and they're known to go on these skyscrapers for years all over the world, and they don't get arrested in those countries, in those states. But New York City, they're like I'm afraid they're going to throw the book at them. I hope they don't.
They won't.
I mean, it's beautiful, but I'm saying like that's how people represent, America. That's how people, represent America to them. And, we need to, understand that everybody thinks of America in a different way. But I'm going to preface the damn musicians who claim that they love veterans, who claim they love America, the fact that the majority of them backed out of this. And
who was it that backed out?
Yeah, Brett Michaels backed out.
What's he, like 90? Who gives a shit
No,
about
Brett
Brett
Michaels,
Michaels?
I mean, he's a younger guy, and he won Celebrity Apprentice. I mean, there were a lot of pro-Trump people that backed out, which I thought was very surprising because they're like, oh, we went there thinking that it was going to be, just about America, but then, it's with Trump and it's political, and like they came up with some bullshit excuse to back out. And like I said, I'm very upset that they backed out. I really hope that, people really look at going to their concerts, and I never call for a ban of anybody, but I mean, again, kudos to the military. In my mind, God really intervened here because they gave the American people the chance to see the military in action, to see what you guys do. Again, thank you, Seth, for your service. Thank you, Damon Sheridan, and anyone else that watches our show. Thank you for your service, because it really showed that you guys really care about America. The military, of course, loves America. There's been more recruitment in the military since Pete Hegseth has been is the Secretary of the Department of War, and the Department of Veterans Affairs is doing very well under Doug Collins. It was very good for the American people to see how the military is thriving and how we're strong. And I just want to end on that note. Stay with us, guys. We have one more segment left talking about elections, midterms coming up, talking about the Save America Act, which is an important topic right now. Stay with us. We are live. We'll be right back after the break.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up. Because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. But America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. The New Jersey State House Watch, hosted by Jack Brangan and Constance Detzel. APN's The Pulse is moderated by either Alexandra, Damon, Elana, or Seth. Also tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the America's Pulse Network with The Pulse. I'm your host again, Alexandra Levine. Segment 4, of course, we're talking about the midterms, the elections. We have some big elections coming up. I'm glad that we have Florida and Maryland, and I want to talk about these two states. Even though they're very different, there are some similarities in regards to what goes on in the Republican Party, and also Democrats, Florida Democrats and Maryland Democrats. Maryland is a very liberal state. It is Democrat controlled. Florida is complete opposite. It's a hardcore Republican state that is hardcore Republican controlled. The first slide I want to bring up has to do with Maryland. Let's bring it up, Damon Sheridan. So Jeffrey Geist wrote, Maryland Democrats are calling a special session August 3 to 5 for one reason, and that is to change the rules before they break them. For centuries, redistricting has followed clear standards: 1, equal population; 2, contiguous districts; 3, compact maps; 4, respect for communities of interest. Maryland Democrats know the maps they want to draw violate those principles, so instead of following the law, they're trying to rewrite it. Their plan? Stitch together places like Columbia with the Eastern Shore, while carving rural Cecil County out of District 1. Their plan is to dilute rural voices and dismantle real communities to serve a partisan agenda. Let's be crystal clear. This isn't reform. It's an attempt to rig the system and avoid getting sued for it. At the same time, the governor has sadly, but not surprisingly, injected race into the debate. He's dividing Marylanders instead of defending a fair and constitutional process. This is about power and not the best interests of Marylanders. It's the best interest of the National Democratic Party. Marylanders should be outraged. And of course, this has to do with Congressman Andy Harris's seat. He's the only Republican congressman in the state of Maryland. He is the head of the House Freedom Caucus. And of course, the Maryland Democrats are calling a special session, which is actually, it's taxpayer dollars used for this special session, your taxpayer dollars, Seth, August 3rd through 5th, to try to pass redistricting to cut Andy Harris out and to make Maryland just all Democrat, all congressional seats Democrat. What say you? So,
crap like this will continue in this state and other states until people stand up and say no. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Politicians work for us. They don't get to make their own decisions. They don't get to go off the reservation and do what they want to do. They don't get to do and say things that they think they need to say. They need to shut up, get with their boss, find out what they want done, and then do it. And if they can't do that, the people need to grow a set, put on their big boy pants, and start getting these people out of office. I'm so a perfect example in Maryland is Dan Cox won the nomination for the Republican governor nomination.
I mentioned that.
And he'll be going against Moore. Republicans, like, once again, are working against Dan Cox because he can't beat Moore, so they're not doing anything. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all these geniuses online and everywhere saying, well, he can't win because of this, or can't win because of that. Shut up and vote for him, because if not, we're going to have Moore again, and you're going to lose everything you own. The man made a tax based on paint cans. There's a paint can tax in Maryland. How stupid do you have to be to not want to get rid of this person? But this will continue to go on until we get a real Republican Party in Maryland and everywhere else where there's weak Republican parties that aren't worried about getting invited to the parties, that aren't worried about getting invited to all the, the high class black tie functions, and just want to do what's right by the people. We don't have that in Maryland. We don't have that in Frederick County. We don't have that anywhere in a vast majority. I'm sure there's great parties in some states, but where I can only talk about what I know, and where I'm at, and it's weak. It's a joke. And until we, the people, say, okay, we've had enough, and get rid of these people, vote them all out, do whatever we have to do legally to get them gone, redistricting, taxes, state flowers, and state everything will be up for grabs and changed at somebody's whim, because the politicians have forgotten who they answer to, because the people they answer to haven't held their feet to the fire in a while.
Correct.
So I don't blame the politicians. I blame the morons in the state that allow this to happen, that just sit back and go, oh, well, we can't do anything. Might as well just sit here. Let me get my knee pads out and my lube and just bend over and smile, because that's all I can do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm tired of. That's what I'm tired of.
No, I agree with you on that. On the flip side, to you, Elana, Florida got screwed in the census. We were supposed to get 2 additional congressional seats. Now, the Governor DeSantis, he signed executive orders saying, because of us getting screwed in the census, and you work with the state legislators on this, they were able to flip and a lot of Democrat seats and redistrict them. Like, for example, Debbie Wasserman Schultz may be out of a job. Frederica Wilson may be out of a job. But of course, you have Democrats that bitch and say that what Governor DeSantis did is illegal. What say you about that?
I think everybody's using everything they've got to get what they want, which is power. And they're just going to continue to do that to our demise. And so at some point, we're just throwing barbs at each other, and no problems are actually being solved by anybody. I mean, my team on DeSantis doing it. Of course, I'm like, it suits me. It's in my favor. So am I going to scream about it? No. I mean, I'm not going to be a hypocrite about it. I'm going to be honest about it. And Democrats in Maryland, they don't mind, because they want power, because somehow they believe that the misery in their lives has nothing to do with their city councilors and their mayors and their psychotic governor. None of those people have any power. It's all about Trump, and everything was Shangri-La. Trump in office in Maryland.
100%. 100%. I do want to get into
schools. Nobody was getting.
Oh my God, the Baltimore Public Schools is awful.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I do want to get into the gubernatorial races, because both states, Florida and Maryland, you guys are getting new governors, supposedly, or actually Wes Moore could be the incumbent. I mean, he is the incumbent. He could win and be the governor again, which of course we don't want. But it's interesting. So as Seth and I know, a lot of hardcore Trump supporters, hardcore Republicans were like supporting Ed Hale Jr. because Ed Hale is the billionaire. Everyone says he was a billionaire, but he's not. He's maybe a millionaire, multimillionaire. But the guy was a registered Democrat. He was a registered Democrat, and he seduced these women with the same one that he tried to seduce me with, which I didn't buy. But like, I won't say, there's another woman who Seth and I know, she was totally seduced by him. And he was like, well, I had to be a registered Democrat because if I wasn't a registered Democrat, I wouldn't have made the money that I made. I wouldn't have been the successful business owner because you couldn't be a Republican in Maryland at the time and be a successful business owner, which was bullshit. He claimed he didn't like Hogan, even though he was doing a lot of deals with Hogan behind the scenes. Hogan made the guy a lot of money. And he claimed that he liked Trump, but yet he didn't want to talk about President Trump on the campaign trail. He didn't want to support President Trump. Then what really screwed him is somebody asked him, I think it might have been Euripsy Morgan, some of these names, Eureka. If you lose the primary, will you endorse the Republican nominee? And he said no. So he really screwed himself. But I saw all these Republicans, they were going out and voting for Ed Hale and to the point where WBAL, Fox 45, they were doing news things for him, hoping that he was going to win. Dan Cox won and surprised a lot of people in Maryland, and the party did not help him. He did not have party support. Ed Hale Jr. was endorsed by every single establishment rhino in Maryland and almost every elected official in Maryland, and he lost. Now what's interesting is now the establishment rhinos are kind of kissing Dan Cox's ass a little bit. Now the Governors Association is finally acknowledging Dan Cox. The MDGOP is kind of kissing his ass a little bit, not fully. Some people are and some are not. I don't really trust that. But I'll be honest with you, Seth, and I see this. There's a difference between 2022 and 2024. Dan Cox won with the endorsement of President Trump in 2022. Dan Cox won on his own without any party help for this nomination. Now some rhino Republicans are, quote, jumping on his ship. But my question to you is, if you were Dan Cox, would you do what you did in the primary and just not rely on the party and just do your own thing? Or would you maybe try to rally up the people that voted for Ed Hale, the people that voted for John Myrick, and get them all together? There were reports that the John Myrick team and the Ed Hale Jr. team were endorsing and supporting and coming on board with Dan Cox. But what say you about this? How do you feel, in your opinion? How can we get Dan Cox over the hump this time so he doesn't get pummeled like he did in 2022?
Well, it'll have nothing to do with the MDGOP either way.
That's true. And they actually said they don't want to get involved. They don't want to give him money. They already said it.
They're as useful as a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. If I were him, I wouldn't even mention them. I wouldn't. If they invited me somewhere, I wouldn't go. I would stick with what he did in the primaries as grassroots. Just do what you've been doing. It works. And what he has to do is talk to these idiots out there that, he can't win. He can't win.
Right.
If he can't win, that means, and you're not going to vote for him. So I would say, are you happy with Maryland now? Are you happy with paying the third or fourth highest tax rate in the country? Are you happy paying taxes on paint cans, you goddamn morons? Are you happy with all this? Do you want to keep giving your money to a government that doesn't give it back to you? No one is saying Dan Cox is perfect. No one is saying that. What I'm saying is he's heading in the right direction. And that's what we need. We need to go a better direction in Maryland than we have been lately. And he wants to go in that direction. If you're not happy with the taxes, if you're not happy with the way the state's going, if you're not happy with the stolen valor moron running the state, if you want to stick it to the Republican Party, you have to vote for Dan Cox. That's the only logical answer there is. He's not for big taxes. He's everything Moore wants, Dan Cox is opposite of. So I don't have to get into breaking down what he's against. If Moore likes it, odds have it Dan Cox doesn't. Moore likes taxes, pretty safe to assume Dan Cox doesn't. To say he's not going to win and then not vote for him is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Do you think, Seth, in your opinion, that the President Trump should endorse Dan Cox this time?
I would. I mean, he's done it before. I mean, he did it last time. I don't see a problem with that. Or maybe he realizes Maryland is that weird kind of state where that might hurt him more than it would help him.
Right. Because remember, he endorsed him in the primary, but he didn't endorse him in the general.
It's Maryland. Well, if you're trying to figure out Maryland, just think of the way California would go, and you've got Maryland pretty much pegged. Maybe it's a smart decision not to do it. Maybe he's told him, like, hey, I've got you, don't worry about it, but I think it's better I don't say it publicly because I think that will hurt you more than it will help you in Maryland.
Well, the thing is, in Maryland, there's actually more hardcore conservative Republicans than people think, and we see this in the primaries. The rhinos actually lose in these primaries because there are more hardcore conservative Republicans that do come out in the primary, and that's, in my opinion, why Dan Cox won this nomination twice, because of the hardcore conservatives that came out for Dan Cox. Now, I can tell you, this was the lowest Republican turnout, actually the lowest turnout period for Democrats and Republicans in the history of early voting and on election day for the primary. We cannot have this for election day, November 3rd.
Yeah, in Frederick, I think we had like a 15% turnout. That was it.
Yeah, it was very, very low. And I know during early voting with Tim, and Tim was in a very hardcore Republican district, it was extremely low turnout. We need high Republican turnout for this election, especially in the hardcore Republican areas.
I blame the MD-GOP for that. They don't get people excited about elections anymore.
That's true.
All they're worried about is collecting their dues, having holiday parties and happy hours, and getting their 90-pound heads in front of cameras. That's all they're worried about.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's it. So I don't blame Republicans like out in Western Maryland that don't come out to vote. Why should I? No one's talking about this. The party's not talking about it, so it must not be that important.
Right.
That's why I'm telling people, if you want to stick it to the Republicans in Maryland, literally vote for Dan Cox.
Yeah.
That will stick it to the MD-GOP.
Yeah.
It'll stick it to Larry Hogan. It'll stick it to all the people who support more. I mean, I want to be able to stay in Maryland. If it keeps going the way it's going, I'm not going to be able to afford to live here.
It's true. It's very true.
It's cheaper. It's almost cheaper to be in California now.
Yeah. I mean, Maryland is turning into California. Now, pivot to you, Elana. Now, Ron DeSantis is term limited. He's out. And of course, the front runner is Congressman Byron Donalds. But I'll be honest with you, talking across Florida, people are not excited about Byron Donalds like they were excited about Ron DeSantis. And, this guy, Paul Renner, is very good. He's a businessman. People like the Lieutenant Governor, Collins. But it's very hard in Florida, when you see, Byron Donalds is at 42% and everybody's like in single digits. So if you're a Floridian and our primary is August 18th, it's that Tuesday, you say to yourself, well, if I don't vote for Byron Donalds, I'm going against the guy that Trump endorsed, and Byron Donalds is probably going to end up winning the primary anyway. But people are very concerned that it may be a hard struggle for him to win the general. And as you noticed in Florida, the first time around with Ron, he barely won against Andrew Gillum. They completely underestimated that guy, completely. Thank God that we didn't get Andrew Gillum, because the guy was just arrested in Alabama for drug possession. I mean, It's just hilarious. The guy was in the news again. Yeah, this is true, Seth. Like he was in the news again. This guy could have been our governor. He was the former mayor of Tallahassee. He made Tallahassee a dump with the drugs. But, I want your opinion on this, Elana. Do you think that Byron Donalds has what it takes to be the next governor of Florida? And are you excited about him? Because I'll be honest with you, the Floridians I talked to across the country, they're not as excited as they were for Ron. Me personally, in my opinion, I do not feel that Byron Donalds will be the same governor that Ron is, in my opinion.
He's not. I don't think he's going to be the same governor that Ron is. I think he's going to. I don't dislike him. I don't
dislike him either. I have issues with him.
I'm looking at the other candidates, and some of them are just more appealing to me.
Except for Fishback.
I like Collins. I don't mind Fishback. I haven't seen anything he said that I didn't like. But I like Collins. So far I've seen Collins and Fishback, and both of them look good to me, but Donalds is going to take it. And I haven't really looked at I haven't had a chance to look at, the polling on, each one of them versus the likely Democrat. And that's where, that's my concern at this point. Because say, all right, you don't like Fishback or whatever, but say I'm okay with Donalds, I'm okay with Fishback, I'm okay with Collins. I'm going to vote for whoever has the best chance of beating them. winning at this
Yeah,
point.
I agree with you too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm a rock in a hard place because I support President Trump. I do support the majority of his the people he endorses. But I'm just me personally. I'm not excited about Byron Donalds. I'm not excited as much as I was excited about Ron. And I worked with Ron. And I mean, Ron had to change his whole entire stance because he was down 20 points before the big debate. Trump endorsed him. Then he flipped up. And I was there for that debate between Ron DeSantis and Adam Putnam, and Ron just killed it. I mean, he just murdered Adam. I mean, meaning he hit him on every single point, and Adam didn't know what to do, and Adam just unraveled. His whole campaign unraveled, and then Ron just became this powerhouse. And Ron has been a phenomenal governor. He's been better than Rick Scott, in my opinion, better than Jeb Bush, in my opinion.
I love him.
And yeah, I really love him as the governor. So it's going to be very hard, in my opinion, to have a Byron Donalds. I just, I mean, of course, if he's the nominee, we'll support him. We'll, do everything we can.
He's terrible.
No, he's not terrible. He's not Ron. He's just
no one Ron shoes.
Yeah, go ahead, Seth.
I'll come down and run for governor. Don't worry.
Oh, please.
Yeah, no one's going to fill Ron's shoes. I would like to know what Ron's doing next. Any ideas?
Well, there's been some hints. I mean, there's speculation. I've said this on my show last night. Ron is not done. I don't think, in my opinion, that Ron should run for president in 2028. I think he kind of screwed himself by running for president in 2024. He would make a good VP. I do agree with that. But I believe that he will probably get a position with Trump in the cabinet in some capacity. Or he may actually wait and run for the United States Senate when Rick Scott retires. That's another thing that they're looking at as well. If Ron did want to run for president, I would wait. I mean, I would totally wait. I'd wait 2032. Yeah. I would wait. I would not do it in 2028. I think he really screwed himself.
I'd like to see DOJ.
Yeah. I mean, they're looking at that. They're looking at him. He won't be the head of the DOJ. That's going to Todd Blanche, but he may work in the DOJ in some aspect. They may put
Blanche going to get it? Is that going to work?
They're saying that he's going to get it. They're saying, I mean, I'll be honest, he's doing much better than Pam Bondi. He's doing a lot better job than Pam Bondi. He's getting a lot more things done. I'm sorry?
On his first day, he did better than Pam Bondi.
Yeah, I mean, Pam was a big disappointment. And she was a big disappointment. She opened up Medicare cases, in my opinion, that didn't need to be opened up. She went after the wrong people, in my opinion. Todd Blanche is actually going after the right people. I can tell you that people that have committed welfare fraud, that took an Alford plea deal and think that they're like fine and dandy and they can just go on like screwing the people of Maryland and other states, I can tell you that that case is being reopened and they may have to pay that $39,000 that they owed to the state of Maryland. So yeah, that's a big thing. So the Medicare thing, Medicaid fraud, that's a huge thing. And it's big in Ohio too, actually. So I'm glad that Todd Blanche is really taking the initiative with JD Vance to get that resolved and solved. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think there still is a future in politics for Ron. Do I think he's going to be president one day? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't. I think maybe VP is more in his future, in my opinion. But we'll see. I would not rule out him becoming a United States Senator of Florida. I will not rule that out either, because Rick Scott eventually will retire. He is a guy that believes in term limits. So I do believe that, in my opinion, Ron DeSantis will possibly be a U.S. Senator of Florida. But like I said, I don't think he's just going to go away quietly, and his wife is all about power, and she wants him to stay as long as he can in politics and continue with his pension, because the longer he stays, the more the pension he gets. And she's a little bit greedy, in my opinion. So she won't want him to stop, in my opinion. That's all I have to say about that. And then, of course, we have, New Jersey. We have our friend Justin Murphy. He's running in a very tough seat. He's going up against an incumbent, Cory Booker, who's a mess. And, New Jersey, there's a lot of cheating, a lot of stealing. It's very liberal. And I was very happy that he won the primary. I really was. And it's funny because I talked to a bunch of Jewish people, religious Jewish women that were kind of on the fence. They didn't know who to vote for. They ended up voting for Justin Murphy in the end. So I'm proud of that. But what say you, Elana, about like these, again, very hardcore liberal states with these very great candidates, these very conservative candidates? how can we get the voters to make it too big to rig? So if they do push out a bunch of damn mail-in ballots, it's not going to matter because it's going to be too big to rig, like what Trump did.
It's going to have to be on the ground, grassroots. I mean, talking to people one, because the New Jersey is just like Maryland. The GOP, the RNC have completely abandoned candidates there. They don't give them any money. They give them very little support. Otherwise, in-kind support. And so, these are winnable races if they have, just a little more money. Somebody like Justin Murphy running up for Senate, running up against Cory Booker, $22 million. Justin Murphy's got a better message, and Justin Murphy knows what the people want. He doesn't need 22 million. He doesn't need to match Cory, but the RNC or the GO, was it the RNC? I think.
It's the RNC and the New Jersey GOP.
$400 million they've got. I mean, and they just abandon blue states. It's like they don't even win.
Correct.
So it's this is gonna have to be like a hand of God and grassroots.
I agree. I agree. And I can tell you, when the party does help you, you lose, especially in liberal states. I see this in Maryland. I see this in New Jersey. When the party does help you, you actually lose. And that's why Dan Cox won the primary. That's why our friend Tim Fazenmaker won his primary. He had no party help because the party was completely against him. Tim Fazenmaker literally wrecked and destroyed the rhino establishment of Maryland by winning his primary. He not only won the primary for county council, but he won back his central committee seat after his central committee illegally censured him. He was a private citizen when they censured him. The whole thing is disgusting. We've actually called upon the Baltimore County Republican Central Committee to remove the censure because he's a central committee member again. He won back his seat. Will they do that? We'll see. I mean, they try to embarrass him. I think they're going to keep that up there until after November when he does win. But the fact that they would keep that up there, the fact that they illegally did that is disgusting. They're all subject to suing. And the interesting thing is that the majority of the people in the Baltimore County Republican Central Committee are not even coming back. They either decided not to run again, they're resigning before November, or the good conservatives that were there were voted out. So it's a total unraveling. I mean, literally, Tim unraveled the entire rhino establishment in Maryland in one night, which was awesome. And if the party's like, oh, well, I'd love to give you an endorsement, Tim. We don't want your damn endorsement. We don't want it. You know why? Because his constituents don't want it. We don't want developer endorsements. We don't want any of that crap, because that is not what Tim campaigned on. That's not what we want. What we want is for the push for high Republican turnout in that district. If the central committees or the MD-GOP, if they want to door knock for him, phone bank for him, sign wave for him, if they want to give him some money, that's fine. But don't freaking give us your endorsement. We don't want your endorsement. We don't want your bullshit. We don't want your help, because you are out to destroy good conservatives. You are not out to help good conservatives. What say you, Seth?
I agree. Like I said, the Maryland GOP is weak. It's nothing but rhinos. And I mean, there's so many rhinos in this state, it should be considered a rhino sanctuary. It's all about self-preservation. They're not worried about promoting anything or getting the right candidates elected. Like I said, it's about parties, dues, and donations. That's all they want. That's all they're worried about.
No.
I mean, it's an embarrassment. And like I said, anybody running, like you just said too, anybody running for a political position in Maryland as a Republican, avoid the MD GOP like a plague. Don't have anything to do with them. Stay away from them. They're the kiss of death. Stay grassroots, stay on the ground, and you do it. Don't depend on them or don't want any help from them, because they're just going to drop the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, you muted yourself a little bit. But yeah, I completely agree. I just want to kind of end this on a good note. So, as we noted, we're helping people now that are our friends, that are Republican nominees. So as you know, Tim Fazenmaker is the Republican nominee. He was officially certified July 6th. He is the Republican nominee for the Baltimore County Council District 9. He will win November. I can tell you, he lives in a very hardcore MAGA America First district, but we, like Seth said, we need grassroots helping. We need high Republican turnout. Again, Justin Murphy, please guys donate to him. Justin Murphy for United States Senate in New Jersey. We want to get him over the hump. We want to get rid of Cory Booker. And of course, our good friend Damon Galdo, who is a Republican nominee for CD1 in New Jersey. Put money in his pocket, grassroots all the way. I mean, the parties of New Jersey say they're going to help, but they say they're going to help you and then they backstab you in the back. And then, of course, we want to support every single Republican nominee that we can, that supports our values, that supports, the people, that wants to work for the people. They're not self-serving people. And, that's what the Pulse of America is about. We're God-fearing, and also we love our country, and we love we love the people. And the people that I know that we endorse and that we support, we know for a fact that these are people that really care about the people and not just about themselves. And that's why it upsets me to see good conservatives not win the primary, not win the election. But I don't know. I'm very optimistic this cycle, maybe because Trump's back in office. I'm very optimistic that more conservatives, people that are non-politicians, that have never ran for office, are really, putting their name out there. And in my opinion, they're winning because they are stepping up and they have the grassroots behind them. They're not relying on the party either. And you don't have to have millions of dollars for these races. That's the faux pas, that you have to have millions of dollars. Like Seth said, you don't have to have $22 million for a United States Senate seat in New Jersey. That's crazy. That's crazy and it's stupid. The Baltimore County executive has $2 million already in his bank account. Like a Baltimore County executive, a local race, the guy's got $2 million in his bank account. And he's got endorsements from Westmore and Angela Asselbrooks and all of this crap. And that's about race because Julian Jones is black. And of course, Westmore is going to endorse his black guy. He's all about black power. That's what it is. He's going to endorse every single black Democrat, but no white guys. Oh God, no. White Democrats? Hell no. Jewish Democrats? Hell no. Nope. Got to be black and I'll give you the money. That's Westmore. That's Westmore. But anyway, guys, this has been
the worst, man. I don't know how you do it.
Go ahead. What'd you say?
I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it with him as your governor.
He's not my governor, but when I'm there, I'm like, I say to the white police officer, you're pulling over the wrong person. Go pull over that illegal down the street. And I get out of the ticket that way, actually. Because I'm like, you don't want me. You don't want me. Go get the real illegal. Like, go get the real person breaking the law. Don't give me a ticket just because I did an illegal U-turn. Don't do that to me. Just because I was speeding a little bit, I went through a stop sign. That's not bad as that illegal down the street, But
you got bigger problems.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's true. I've literally said that to police officers, and they're like, you know what, you're right. They're like, and you know what they say to me? Like, we got to go, ma'am. We got something bigger coming along. So it does work. So, that's how you get out of the ticket. Just say, look, I'm not a big problem. You got bigger problems. But it's very sad. It's very sad. Like Seth said, you look at the crime in Baltimore County and Baltimore City. Like when I was in Baltimore for the parades, I had to decide what area did I want to stay in. Did I want to stay in Fells Point? Did I want to stay in Little Italy? Did I want it I had to flip a coin because you never know daily or weekly what those areas are going to be, and that's the problem. In Florida, fortunately, we don't have that problem. But you never know. Some places that are nice areas can be shitty areas too, or you could have a terrorist attack in your area. You don't know. It could be the best area in the world. So you never know. That's why you always have to, in my opinion, have a firearm, have some type of protection with you, have mace, have a knife, something. Don't leave your house without anything. That's just how I feel. Because you never know. People are crazy out there. You never know. You could be walking in a multi-million-dollar neighborhood and somebody could still stab you or shoot you. You have no clue. You have no idea. You could live in a gated community and somebody could still kill you. You have to be protected. You really have to be protected. Or you have a Graham Plattner in your neighborhood who's, raping you, taking off his condom. It's like, you have to have, protection against these idiots. It's the truth. It's the truth. The fact that guy is still walking free is just really asinine to me. But anyway, this has been a great show, guys, and we love everybody that's on. Thank you again to my co-host, Seth Eisenberg of the Conservative Corner. He's on once a month, and he's on from, is it 7 to 8:30? Is that correct?
Yes.
7 to 8:30. Elana Barbera, we love you. Our special guest, the base mother. She's always here every Wednesday. She's always reliable, dependable. We love her. And what's your Twitter handle and Facebook so people can follow you, Elana?
At the based mother, pretty much everywhere. So
Awesome. We love you. And thanks again to Damon Galdo for coming on. He's going to be on Monday night with the Jersey Shore from 8 to 9 p.m. I'm Alexandra Levine live on Tuesdays from 8 to 9:30, sometimes Thursdays 8 to 9 p.m. Don't forget tomorrow night, my show. And then we have the New Jersey State House with Jack Brengan and Constance Stitzel. They're the second to the fourth Tuesday of every month. And we appreciate everybody. Of course, we have the Pulse every Wednesday night here from 8 to 9, 8 to 9:30. Now it's almost 10. So thank you guys so much. And we really appreciate it. And again, we are the Pulse of America. We bleed for God, for country, America first. Thanks so much. Have a great night, everybody.
America's Pulse Network thanks you for watching tonight's episode of the Pulse Podcast. See you at the next packed episode that will take you from breaking news to informative topics. So please click on the subscribe button to get notified for upcoming episodes. If you liked what the Pulse covered, then share the Pulse Podcast with others. APN's The Pulse hosts look forward to seeing you on the next episode.